Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. So today we're doing chapter 3 of Matilda. It is called The Hat and the Super Glue. So you're probably wondering why I have a hat on. I have a challenge for you guys today. This chapter is about a hat. So I'm going to challenge you all to wear a hat all day. At the end, I'm going to give you the next part of the challenge and see if you guys are willing to do it. So first we're going to do the vocab. So the first word is cloakroom, which is just a closet. The second word is rakish, which means having an unusual quality that is attractive and stylish. The third one is skulking, to move or hide in a secretive way. So there are our 3 vocab words today. So now we're going to read chapter 3 of Matilda. Nope, we did that. That's chapter 2. The Hat and the Super Glue. The following morning, just before the father left for his beastly second-hand car garage, Matilda slipped into the cloakroom and got hold of the hat he wore each day to work. She had to stand on her tips and reach up as high as she could with a walking stick in order to hook the hat off the peg, and even then she only just made it. The hat itself was one of those flat-topped pork pie jobs with a jay's feathers stuck in the hat band, and Mr. Wormwood was very proud of it. He thought it gave him a rakish, daring look, especially when he wore it at an angle with his loud checked jacket and green tie. Matilda, holding the hat in one hand and a thin tube of superglue in the other, proceeded to squeeze a line of glue very neatly all around the inside rim of the hat. Then she carefully hooked the hat back onto the peg with the walking stick. She timed the operation very carefully, applying the glue just as her father was getting up from the breakfast table. Mr. Wormwood didn't notice anything when he put the hat on, but when he arrived at the garage, he couldn't get it off. Superglue is very powerful stuff, so powerful it will take your skin off if you pull too hard. So here is Matilda trying to get the hat down. Mr. Wormwood didn't want to be scalped, so he had to keep the hat on his head the whole day long, even when putting sawdust in gearboxes and fiddling the mileages of cars with his electric drill. In an effort to save face, he adopted a casual attitude, hoping that his staff would think that he actually meant to keep his hat on all day, just for the heck of it. When he got home that evening, he still couldn't get the hat off. "Don't be silly," his wife said. "Come here, I'll take it off for you." She gave the hat a sharp yank. Mr. Wormwood let out a yell that rattled the window panes. "Ow!" he screamed. "Don't do that! Let go! You'll take half the skin off my forehead." Matilda, nestling in her usual chair, was watching this performance over the rim of her book with some interest. "What's the matter, Daddy?" she said. "Has your head suddenly swollen or something?" Did its head actually swell, or is it her fault that it stuck? The father glared at his daughter with deep suspicion, but said nothing. How could he? Miss Wormwood had said to him, "It must be superglue. It couldn't be anything else. That'll teach you to go playing around with the nasty stuff like that. I expected you were trying to stick another feather in your hat." "I haven't touched the stuff," Mr. Wormwood shouted. He turned and looked again at Matilda, who looked back at him with large, innocent brown eyes. Miss Wormwood said to him, "You should read the label on the tube before you start messing with dangerous products. Always follow the instructions on the label." "What in heaven's name are you talking about?" Mr. Wormwood shouted, clutching the brim of his hat to stop anyone trying to pull it off again. "Do you think I'm so stupid I'd glue this thing onto my head on purpose?" Here's Miss Wormwood trying to yank off the hat, and there's Matilda every time she looks up. Matilda said, "There's a boy down the road who got some super glue on his finger without knowing it, and he put his finger into his nose." Mr. Wormwood jumped. "What happened to him?" he spluttered. "The finger got stuck inside his nose," Matilda said, "and he had to go around like that for a week. People kept saying to him, 'Stop picking your nose,' and he couldn't do anything about it. He looked an awful fool." "Serve him right," Miss Wormwood said. "He shouldn't have put his finger up there in the first place. It's a nasty habit. If all children had super glue put on their fingers, they'd soon stop doing it." Matilda said, "Grown-ups do it too, Mommy. I saw you doing it yesterday in the kitchen." "That's quite enough from you," Miss Wormwood said, turning pink. Mr. Wormwood had to keep his hat on all through supper, in front of the television. He looked ridiculous, and he stayed very silent. When he went up to bed, he tried again to get the thing off, and so did his wife, but it wouldn't budge. How am I going to have my shower?" he asked. "You'll just have to do without it, won't you?" his wife told him, and later on, as she watched her skinny little husband skulking around the bedroom in his purple striped pajamas with a pork pie hat on his head, she thought how stupid he looked. Mr. Wormwood discovered that the worst thing about having a permanent hat on his head was having to sleep in it. It was impossible to lie comfortably on the pillow. "Now do stop fussing around," his wife said to him after he had been tossing and turning for about an hour. "I expect it will be loose by morning, and then it'll slip off." But it wasn't loose by the morning, and it wouldn't slip off. So Miss Wormwood took a pair of scissors and cut the thing off his head, bit by bit, first the top and then the brim. Where the inner band had stuck to the hair all around the sides and back, she had to chop the hair off right up to the skin, so that he finished up with a bold white ring around his head with some sort of monk. And in the front, where the band had stuck directly to the bare skin, there remained a whole lot of small patches of brown leathery stuff that no amount of washing would get off. So here's Miss Wormwood cutting the hat off. At breakfast, Matilda said to him, "You must try to get those bits off your head, Daddy. It looks as though you've got a little brown insects crawling about all over your head. People will think you've got lice." "Be quiet," the father snapped. "Just keep your nasty mouth shut, will you?" All in all, it was a most satisfactory exercise, but it was surely too much to hope that it had taught the father a permanent lesson. So this is what he looked like in the end, after having the hat cut off. You can see where she had to cut the brim off. So that is chapter 3. Your full challenge is to wear a hat all day. And like Mr. Wormwood, see if you can sleep in your hat. Take a picture, post it in the comments on here, or email it to me. I'm going to wear my hat all day. Let's see who can join. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.